Well, I'd like to welcome you back to the second part of our webinar today. My name is Ria Shoshana, and we're going to be continuing on the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. We're going to be doing it in the Intermediate Respect Unit. That's the class that we're going to be continuing on. And we're going to be going to Chapter 3. If any of you have your books, please open to page 51. We're going to be going over procedures 2 through 5 in this class. And I would like to give a great hand to the teacher that was here before. She did an excellent job. And how many of you really realize how important friendship really is before we went to this class? And then how much of a part we have to play in having a great friend. I didn't realize that I had to play a part. I figured that all had to be on the friend side. You know, she's my friend. I didn't realize that I also have to be a friend to her. Does anybody remember some of the things that she went over? Can anybody give me some? Yes.
Some of the pointers on how to choose a friend, and don't let your choices be based on their personality or how they look.
Yes, she said it was don't let your basis of a friendship be on how they look or their personality. You wanted to go a little bit deeper because a true friend is going to not only support and encourage you, as she said, but she is also going to let you know if you're headed down the wrong path. And that is a great strength. That is a very important part of a friend. Yes?
Don't let yourself get caught up in stereotypes. If you catch yourself doing it, stop, because that person may be a really great friend, even if they don't look like a stereotype of what you think one would be, or they may not be when you think they might be because they're stereotypes.
Yes, we don't want to stereotype people, and that's one of the things that the world does with the entertainment that we watch on TV, the models, they even have baby pageants, beauty contests for babies, and teaching the children at a very young age that looks is the most important thing about being a person or somebody of value in this society. Now, we are going to take our friendship to another level. And what it is going to be is for us to be a great friend to somebody else and for that person to be a great friend to us, we have to communicate with each other. So what are some of the ways that we can communicate with a friend? Can somebody give me some examples of communication? How would you communicate with a friend? Somebody that you just met. Yes. Yes, somebody that you just met and you're thinking that she might be, you might like to have her as a friend, or you might like to be a friend to her. How would you communicate that to her?
Usually you're really polite when you first meet somebody.
Yes, you're usually very polite when you first meet somebody because it's, saying goes, first impressions are always the most important. Yes?
I watch their body language.
You watch their...
I do, to see if they're, receptive to that.
Okay.
You might start to talk to them, and you can tell if somebody wants to be away from you or if they're welcoming that.
Yes.
So the body language can really tell you a lot.
Yes, body language can tell you a lot. Maybe they were hurt by somebody who may have the same personality as you have, and they don't want to open themselves up to that same type of hurt. Is there anybody else who has any ways of communicating to a friend? Yes?
Well, you could say, hello, my name's Diana. I'm in English 101. I saw you were in class. How are you? Something along that line.
That's a great way. You say hello. You say hello to the person. Now, we have communications with potential friends every single day whenever we interact with people out in, the supermarkets, in the gas stations. If you meet somebody on the street, there's a lot of ways, teachers of your children, most everybody says please and thank you. You do say please and thank you to people. If somebody does something for you, you say thank you. Or if you would ask somebody to do something for you, the majority of us say please. And then that's a great way to open up a conversation. Now, you may not become a friend of that person, but you're respectful. And that's the one thing that we want to focus on, is we want to focus on being respectful. And I heard this at a conference one time, and it really hit home. You deserve my respect. You don't have to earn my respect. From the minute I see you, you deserve my respect. And that's something that a lot of people do not understand. Like if I come up to you and I say hello to you, I am to say hello to you in a very respectful and kind way. I can't come up and say, hello. What would you do? See? You would jump back because I did not say it in a kind, considerate, or respectful way. So if I wanted to say hello to you, I would say, hello, my name is so-and-so. It's nice to meet you. And then you would greet me with a smile. See the difference? So that is what I mean by everybody deserves our respect. It's not something that's earned. It's not something that they have to try to get from you. It is a requirement. And we went over friendship in the beginning of the class. How many people have a friend, and when you were in a bad mood, you took it out on them? I know I have. Were you being respectful to your friend?
No.
How many of you have siblings that when you get into an argument, you say mean or unkind words to your siblings because they made you angry? How many of you have talked back when you were a young child to your parents and say, no, I don't want to do that, or you throw a temper tantrum? Those are all signs of disrespect. And the reason why we show those signs to disrespect, does anybody know why we show those signs of disrespect to the people that are closest to us? Yes.
I think subconsciously we feel the safest doing that because we're not, even if we offend them, that relationship's going to be strong enough to handle it. Where you wouldn't do it with someone you just met because you don't know.
You don't know.
Understand it. You don't know the reaction you'll get.
That's true. Familiarity is what it is. Yes. Yes. You're too familiar with them. Does anybody heard this saying? Familiarity breeds contempt. Well, in the Peaceful Solution, we have a positive side of that saying. And what the Peaceful Solution believes is familiarity breeds respect. The more familiar you become with a person, the stronger and closer your relationship is, the more respectful you should be to that person. And that's what this lesson is all about. It's respecting others. And on page 52, it says this. It says the title of the chapter says, I have a responsibility to show respect to everyone. Not just to the person that you like the best, not to the person who has long hair. Somebody said that they like the person because they had long hair. They're going to be a nice person. No, we show respect. Oh, it's a responsibility. It's our responsibility. It's a friend. That's our active part of being a friend. Does anybody have their Peaceful Solution Character Education book here? No? Would anybody like to stand up and read?
Hi. I have a responsibility to show respect to everyone. In Chapter 1, you learn that basic respect must be shown to all people and that everyone has a right to be respected. List below the 3 basic rules of respect for all people. Number 1, be polite and courteous. 2, recognize the value and worth of all people. And 3, accept that people are unique and have different beliefs and values. These 3 rules of respect can demonstrate to everyone you come in contact with. Respecting all people on the basic level keeps our society civil. The word civil means adequate in courtesy, polite, and mannerly. There are many other ways you can show that you are respectful to people you know casually or may not know at all. For example, the cashier at the store, the security guard at the mall, the bus driver, or the conductor of a train are people just like you. You may not know them personally, but they too have value. They have families, talents, goals, and potential. You and the countless other people you may see every day have a responsibility to show respect to each other. Have you ever noticed that when you purchase an item at a store, the cashier will hand you your change and receipt and say thank you? And come again. Most people will respond with, have a nice day, This is one of the ways that even people who do not even know each other can demonstrate respect. There are many other ways that even strangers can be civil to one another in their daily interactions.
This paragraph goes and explains exactly what our responsibility is in a society, a civil society. It says, a civil means adequate in courtesy. It also means polite and mannerly. Now, when I was growing up, those were aspects of the classes that I went to when I was in school. That was instilled in me by my parents. We were instructed that we were to always say please and thank you. We were supposed to step aside if we were in somebody's way. We had to say, I apologize, or excuse me, or may I. We don't see that in the schools now. We do not see that in the children. And the reason we don't see that in the children is because the parents were not taught that as they were growing up. They were not taught how to communicate properly. They were not taught how to properly discipline their children. They probably were not properly disciplined. So those are the reasons why we do not have a respectful society. And it's in the family. It says, familiarity breeds respect. We were brought up as familiarity breeds contempt. Now that is very, very negative. So what we're going to learn here is we're going to learn how we can turn the negative around to positive. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to do that as friendships. Now there's a process. It says there's do's and don'ts of respect. Now if you could give me 3 volunteers that could just stand up, and I will give you an example of what the do's and don'ts of respect are. So does anybody would like to be a volunteer? Yes? Okay. One of the things that you would do is you would use appropriate language. So I would greet you in an appropriate way. I say, hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And in the process of our communication, something may come up where one of the people may become angry. Now, the appropriate way to end the conversation, what would you think it would be? An appropriate way, appropriate language.
Well, it was really nice to meet you. I hope you have a great day.
And an inappropriate way would be, well, I'm sorry, you're so rude. I don't ever want to see you again, and walk away. Now, that was a very calm way. So there's always, you may sit down. There are ways of conversations where a person may have that escalate into bad language, as well as maybe even physical violence, depending on what the situation is. Because one of the people was raised with a respectful attitude or a respectful family life, and another one may have been raised with a violent family life. So if we take a look at society, how many have seen on the news recently about the shootings, the bullying, the kidnapping and rapes, the murders? Now, all of that is because those people were not taught how to be respectful. They were not even respected as they were growing up. And that. So, can I have another volunteer? Yes. Okay, another thing, we'll do the same thing where we introduce ourselves. You can start first.
Hi, my name is Tanya. How are you doing? What is your name?
My name is Ria, thank you, and we continue on in our conversation, and just say anything.
So how is your day going today?
Oh, my day was so bad, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk to you. And walk away. And an appropriate response to that would be,
well, I'm sorry that you've had a bad day today. I hope that the rest of your day goes better than today, or tomorrow your day goes better tomorrow than today. But it was nice speaking to you, or nice meeting you, Ria. And I would hope that the next time I meet you that you're in better spirits. Better.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Insulting people. That's another way. Because, she was very kind and considerate in her way of being very respectful, and the other person may have had a bad day and you said the wrong thing at the wrong time. But you need to be respectful of that person no matter how they interact or react to you. And she reacted very, very greatly. Yes. Yes.
Hi, my name is Diana. What's your name?
My name is Rhea.
Well, hi, Rhea. That's a very lovely necklace that you have today. How is your day going?
I don't really want to say.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I hope things get better for you, and I myself is having a wonderful day.
Oh, you're just saying that because you have to.
No, truly, and those earrings match that necklace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just want brownie points. Why don't you just go ahead and sit down?
Take care of me.
And that's how it can go. Somebody could say something and it's one person is very disrespectful. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, please, Diane, please step up again. Please stand up again. And we're going to continue this conversation. Now, I have come to my senses and realized I have insulted you beyond belief, and I apologize for my bad words and my bad temper. I had a bad day and I took it out on you, and I truly apologize.
Well, thank you very much, Rita.
Okay, and thank you, and we'll speak with you later when I'm in a better mood.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect time.
Great. Now there was all kinds of things that was going on at that time. Did anybody notice? I only looked the person in the eye when they were introducing themselves, and then I rolled in my eyes, I walked away, I pulled away, and I followed through with inappropriate and very hurtful language. And those are the ways of disrespect. You can, even though you want to have a conversation with somebody, you have to follow it through with eye contact, your body language. Even if you pull back, you're sending a signal to the person that you are holding something back and you do not want to have anything to do with that person. And the other person, you actually saw that when I pulled back. You noticed and you changed your demeanor. And that. So we have to be very, very, very conscious of our body language, of our eye contact, of our tone of voice, and the words we say. So does anybody have any input as to how we could have more positive interactions with the people that are around us? Yes?
I noticed your second lady over there. She was really listening to what you were saying, and she was responding with that, so that to let you know she actually heard what you said, and she responded to that. Used the same words back to you.
Yes. That's one of the great ways. We have a sign, if you notice the sign up here, and if you have your book, this is on page, let me find the page right here. It's on page 57 of your Peaceful Solution book. And what it is this is how you can speak the language of respect. And the first person, there's different things of what you can do if you come across the conversation like you've seen in the examples that we portrayed this evening. The first one is you should tell the person why you are upset. Because the conversation I automatically just spurted out my anger and directed at the person. And what you want to do is you say, do not assume that they know why you're upset. Sometimes people say and do things unintentionally. Maybe they had just got some bad news. A family member was in an accident and they're in the hospital and their nerves are just right on edge. And you may have said something that may have triggered some response in them for them to lash out at you. What you would do if you were a true friend, you would let the person, you would try to calm the person down, but then you would either at that time or another time, let your friend know why you were upset so that that friendship can continue to build. Don't just leave it go and say, oh, well, she knows that I wasn't upset. And I understand that she was upset because of her family tragedy or things like that. But that's going to put a wall between you and your friend's relationship. And the next time I see you, that's the first thing that's going to come into your head, that I lashed down at you. So for me to be respectful to you, I would explain to you what had occurred when I had the opportunity. And you would also have that active conversation back and explain to me that even though you understood that I was going through a hard time, that my reaction to you had upset you, so that we can build our relationship back. So we don't want to assume that the other person knows why we're upset. We always want to make sure that we have that open communication, communicate back and forth. So does anybody have any ideas on another way that we can communicate back and forth with our friends or family members in situations that may cause stress? Yes?
It's like actively listening.
Actively listening.
Because I know if you're not actively listening, they could be telling you their problems, and then you start maybe talking about your own problems, and that could build a wall too.
You can start talking about your problems, and they can start talking about their problems, and next thing you know, you have a totally different conversation, and you don't know what each of you are saying. Yes, actively listen. Does everybody know what actively listen means? Does anybody know? Do you have an answer to active? Yes.
I think it means that when you're having a conversation with your friend, the listener is really trying to understand the heart and the thought behind what the friend is saying to really get the point.
Yes, that is right. There's always in a conversation, there's always two parts of a conversation. There's the person who's speaking and the person who's listening. And you have to interchange that role between the two people. You can't just have one person talking all the time and the other person listening all the time, because it's just a one-sided story. You need to have that active communication between the two of you. Yes?
I've been in conversations or seen conversations where you can tell that even though they're both talking, when one is talking, the other one, instead of listening to what that one is saying, they're thinking of the next thing they're going to say, and they jump right in with their own thoughts.
Yes.
And I've even seen it where both people are doing that.
Yes.
And either one of them is listening to the other one.
Yes, that's the other thing. Active listening means that you are actively listening to the person who is speaking to you. And if you don't understand what the person says, or you're not sure of what she's trying to communicate to you, you can stop and ask her to either repeat it, or you can repeat what she said back to her, just so you have a clear idea of what the communication is about. This is a great way, especially for parents and children. Like if the parents and the children are having a conversation and maybe the child needs to be disciplined, or the child may have done something that they weren't quite sure was correct, and you as a parent have to correct the behavior. So you as a parent, yes, you do have to correct the child, but you still have to be an active listener to your child. You have to give your child the opportunity to say what they need to say. And if you do this respectfully, if you are respectful to your children will return that respect, and they will come to you with any kind of problems that they have, as long as they know that they can speak with you and you are actually going to hear what they say. And you can't scream at them all the time and say, no, I don't want to hear this, go to your room. No, I don't want to hear that. No, you knew that the rules said you had to do that. I don't want any explanations. Just go to your room, and I don't want to see you for the rest of the night. No, you have to be able to find out why the child did what he or she did, and then find a solution that will bring the behavior back into your standard of rules of behavior for your family. Now, the second one is tell the person what you would like them to do or not do. Now, you need to be very clear about what you need. The other person cannot be respectful to hearing or doing what you want them to do if they don't understand the instructions you give them. Again, this is another thing that's active. It's an active listener, active speaker. Because if I am the supervisor and I'm telling you that you need to wash all the dishes, dry them, and put them away, I would like you to at least hear my complete instructions before you jump in and say, well, I don't have time to do it. Or I can't do it. Or whatever you need to interject back. But I would also have to be able to give you the opportunity, if there is a problem, to speak your concern. See, I not only have to speak my instructions, I not only have to tell you the instructions or the duties that you need to do, I also have to be able to listen if there is any kind of situation that may arise, or if there is a problem that you may not be able to do the instructions clearly. Does anybody have any suggestions of a communication between a worker and a supervisor? If a situation was that the supervisor didn't give the instructions clearly, what could a worker do? Yes? Amy?
The worker could repeat the instructions back and say, can I just check to make sure I have this straight? You want me to do this and this and this. Is that correct?
Yes, that is the correct answer. The worker can actually very respectfully, in a question, as a question, ask, is this how you want this job done? And go through it the way you perceive the supervisor has given you the instructions. Okay, now the fourth one on this one is we need to take time to listen to their side of the story. And what this is you need to be respectful and listen. That means not rolling your eyes, not tapping your feet, not holding your arms, saying, oh, I don't have time for this. Actually, look them in the eye, try to hear and understand what they're saying. And you might be trying to apologize. If there is a problem and they have not done their instructions correctly, they may be trying to apologize for not getting the job done. And if you're not hearing what they're saying, then you are not being an active listener, and there is going to be a confrontation because they haven't got their job done, and you're going to think they were disobedient with you. Now, there's several other ones down here. It says use proper tone of voice. Don't scream, but don't talk so softly that they can't hear what you're saying. Talk in a normal-sized voice. Never use curse words, because all that does is just adds ammunition to the fire. And avoid put-downs, like I put you down. Avoid putting the person down. Avoid causing that person to feel negative about themselves. And that also applies to yourself. Don't put yourself down. If you make a mistake, honestly own up to the mistake, see what you can do to correct the mistake, and then go forward and put that behind you. Respect others the way you would like to be respected. So always keep that in mind. Always keep in mind, how would you like to be treated? And sometimes you have to stop. You really have to stop and take a deep breath. You might even have to say, excuse me for a minute, I have to step away. Gather your thoughts, gather your emotions, and come back to the conversation. Take that time, because it's very, very worth it. Because over here is a saying that says, an uncontrolled tongue is like a deadly poison, because it can kill. How many heard the saying that says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? I've never had a broken bone. I've never had sticks and stones thrown at me, but I have been devastated by the words that were spoken to me and the words that I spoke about myself, because they stay in your subconscious mind. They stay there and they linger and they pop up when your emotions are at your worst, you're at your very lowest, you're most tired, and the next thing you know, you lash out at your best friend, you lash out at your children, you lash out at your spouse, you lash out at your parents. So remember, words are very, very powerful. Kind words show respect. Words are important and do affect us. They are like bricks. They build and form us. They are like seed that when planted will grow. And in time, love and respect they do show. Kind words show respect to others. They can make enemies become brothers. And that's from the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. If you can take and really respect not only yourself, but your friends, your family, your coworkers, and you can take this program and you can actually have the opportunity to implement it in your family, in your coworkers, your workplace, your schools, little by little, the respect will come back. Little by little, the hearts and the minds of the people will change. Not only the hearts and the minds of the children, but your heart and your mind. And with that, I would like to end this time.